Hi dear. So last class in biology we are seeing the life processes, right? Life processes and what are the main life processes, essential life processes. This nutrition, 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 respiration, transportation, and excretion, right? So these are the four main essential life processes for life processes, right? So first we'll see about the nutrition. Okay, nutrition means what? You know that we'll take the raw materials from the outside and transfer to the body, right? For what? To get nutrients from that food, energy, to get energy, right? So that nutrition, the process of taking nutrients from the food is called nutrition. So we can give it in a simple form, the definition: the process of taking nutrients from the food. Okay, from the food we will take it from outside, right? From the food, taking process of taking nutrients from the food is called nutrition. Okay, next, why do we need materials from outside? Why we need materials from outside? To grow, develop, and synthesis protein and other substance. So so for this purpose we need materials from outside of the body, right? For what purpose? To grow, develop, synthesis of protein and other substance. So how will you get this materials? We'll get the material in the form of food that we eat. Okay, okay, okay. How do living things get their food? So living all the living things require some nutrition, right? So is all the living things require nutrition, but everyone is taking in the same form, consuming the nutrition in the same form? No, it is not possible, right? Some are so it depends upon the organism. Okay, some organism use simple food material obtained from inorganic sources in the form of carbon dioxide and water. Okay, some organism will take the inorganic source. Okay, then it will convert into organic things. Okay, so what are the inorganic source? That is carbon dioxide and water and all. For example, this autotrophs will consume the food like in this form. Okay, some organism utilize complex substance and then it broke down into simpler one before used by the body using biocatalysts called enzymes. So what will happen? Some organism will take the inorganic take the food in the form of inorganic things. Okay, then it will convert it into organic matter. Okay, uh, some organism will take the complex substance, that is organic substance, then it will break down the complex substance into simpler forms. Okay, using some catalyst. Okay, it helps in the breakdown of the things, that is called your enzymes. Okay, so this will happen in heterotrophs. Okay, this is the way they will get their food. So some animals get their food from the inorganic source. Some will get the complex substance, that is organic complex substance, and then it will break down into simpler compounds. Next, this mode of nutrition we'll study in detail. Okay, mode of nutrition. So what are the two modes of nutrition? Autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. So autotrophic means what? It will consume the food materials in the form of inorganic form, that is carbon dioxide, water and all. Okay, then it will convert it into organic compounds. This heterotrophs will consume the food in the form of complex substance. So it cannot prepare their own food. Okay, it will consume in the form of complex substance, then here in the body itself it will break down into simpler one. Okay, this complex system which produce this autotrophs. The autotrophs will produce this complex organic substance which is consumed by the heterotrophics. So directly or indirectly it depends upon the heterotrophs. Which one? The heterotrophs depends upon the autotrophs. Sorry, the heterotrophs depends upon the autotrophs. Okay, this cannot produce their own food. Okay, but this autotrophs can produce their own food by using the inorganic sources like oxygen and carbon dioxide and water. Okay, We'll study the autotrophic nutrition in detail. Okay, it is a process. So first we'll study the definition. It is a process in which organisms produce their food from simple inorganic material like water, carbon dioxide in the presence of sunlight. So you know that plants prepare their own food, right? Using the photosynthesis process, right? We have studied in the lower classes also. So autotrophic nutrition means what? It is the process in which organisms produce their food from simple inorganic material in the presence of sunlight. Clear? Next. Heterotrophic nutrition means what? The organism which depends upon which depends upon the organism directly or indirectly for food to survive. Depends upon which organism? That is your autotrophs. Okay, the autotrophs which prepare their own food, right? The organism which depends upon the other organism. Depends upon the other organism, right? Other organism, which is your autotrophs, directly or indirectly for food to survive. Okay, for survival it depends upon the autotrophs, other organism. For example, human beings, fungi, amoeba, animals like that. So do all the once you consume the food, you'll get energy, right? You'll get the energy, but all the energy is consumed immediately. Once you eat, you will consume all the energy. No, all the energy is not used immediately. So something will be stored in the organism itself, right? So in what form it will be stored? Okay, in autotrophs it is stored in the form of starch. Okay, it is stored in the form of starch, which serves as the internal energy reserve பண்ணி வச்சிருக்க மாதிரி. நமக்கு எமர்ஜென்சிக்கு ஏதாவது தேவைப்பட்டுச்சுன்னா we can use that. Okay, so it is in the form of starch in the autotrophs, and in heterotrophs it is stored in the form of glycogen. Okay, it is stored in the form of glycogen. Okay, we'll see in how this plants prepare their food. Okay, so you know that plants prepare their food using photosynthesis process, right? So what is photosynthesis? It is a process in which green plants convert simple inorganic material like water and carbon dioxide into complex organic food material. Complex organic. Organic means what? That is more bonding of carbon and hydrogen will be there. Okay, that is organic food material. That is your glucose. C6H12O6 is nothing but your glucose, right? So it uses the carbon dioxide and water to form a organic food material called glucose in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. This is important. Okay, what is photosynthesis? It is a process in which green plants convert simple inorganic material like water, carbon dioxide into complex organic food material. Clear? That is your glucose, C6H12O6 in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. Okay, so you know, you already studied in the chemistry that how glucose is formed when photosynthesis process. Okay, in that how glucose is formed when 6CO2 plus 12H2O reacts in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. It forms glucose plus 6CO2 plus 6H2O. Sorry, 6O2 plus 6H2O. Okay, so we'll study in detail how it gets water, how it gets CO2, how it gets the sunlight, and what is the use of chlorophyll. Okay. Okay, so we learned that during the photosynthesis process, the simple organic material is converted into simple inorganic material is converted into complex organic material, right? So what is happening in the photosynthesis process? So first, the absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. The chlorophyll only will absorb the light energy from the sunlight. Okay, then conversion of light energy into chemical energy, and splitting of water molecules. This energy helps in the splitting of water molecule. So water molecule contains H2O, right? H2O is split into hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, hydrogen and oxygen. Next, reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates. Reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates. Okay, so these are the steps involved in the photosynthesis process. Okay, but it is not necessary that it has to takes place in the same order. One immediately, once the absorption of light is taken place by the chlorophyll, next it has to be water has to be split into hydrogen. It is not necessarily. It has to be taken immediately after one by one. Okay, because everywhere the climate is not same, right? It may vary, right? So depending upon the climate, the plants will adapt themselves to that climate. Okay, so in the desert plants the same thing will not happen, right? So is it necessary that events occur during photosynthesis has to take place one after the other immediately? Justify answer. Okay, no. Just now I told it, because based on the environment, based on the climate, based on the season, it will adapt themselves. Plants will adapt themselves. Okay, so it is not necessary that events will occur one by one. Okay, because the desert plant takes up carbon dioxide at night only. Okay, and prepare an intermediate which is acted upon by the energy absorbed by the chlorophyll during the daytime. Okay, so during night time only this carbon dioxide will be get into this the desert plants takes the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere during night time only, because during daytime it's since it is very arid condition, no, so the stomata will be closed. The stomata is nothing but your pores, right? Tiny pores which will open. Through this only the evapotranspiration is taking place. You know that, you have studied in the lower classes, right? So what type of photosynthesis is happening in desert plants? Because in the during daytime it will not open, the stomata will not be open, right? So here in the desert plants, CAM photosynthesis process, this during night only it will open, and carbon dioxide will be get into the plants, right? But without light, how this it prepares food? Desert plants prepare food. Okay, because photosynthesis means what? Photo means light. We need light energy, right? So but what's happening in the desert plant, we'll see. So it undergoes CAM photosynthesis. CAM means crassulacean acid metabolism. Crassulacean means first they observed this type of studied these type of photosynthesis in crassulacean family, that type of desert plant family. So they are given the name, and because since it is carbon dioxide is absorbed during the night time, so it will be stored as a intermediate product, okay, as an acid. Then during the daytime this carbon dioxide will be utilized. Okay, so first how the carbon dioxide is fixed. So based on the arid condition, some of the plants will change their adaptation, that it will adapt to this arid condition. Okay, so it will fix the carbon dioxide during night only. Okay, so since stomata is closed during the day to reduce evapotranspiration. Okay, during the daytime the desert plants will close their stomata. During night, stomata open to CO2 diffuse into the cell and store as malate. Okay, it will store as a malate. Malate is nothing but in the form of malic acid. Okay, it will be stored in the vacuoles of the cells. Okay, during the night time. Excuse me. During the day, the malate transported to the chloroplast and converted to CO2. Clear? So once you got the CO2, then the plant started the photosynthesis process. Okay, this is how this photosynthesis process taking place in the desert plant. How during the night time the carbon dioxide will be diffused into the plant and stored as a malate. Then during the daytime it will be transported to the chloroplast and converted into carbon dioxide. Clear on this? So we have learned this here, transported to chloroplast. And what is the chloroplast, and what is how this malate is converted into carbon dioxide in that. Okay, so we'll see what is chloroplast in detail. So chloroplast, these are the small organelles found in the plant cell. It contains chlorophyll. Only this chlorophyll absorbs the sunlight for photosynthesis process. Okay, so where this chlorophyll is present, the chlorophyll is present in the small organelles, that is called chloroplast. These are the small organelles found in the plant cell. It contains chlorophyll. Okay, so what is if you see the cross section of the leaf, so you know that leaf will be like this. It's a plant, it's a node, stem node, and you have this leaf like this. This is your midrib, and veins will be like this. This is your petiole. This is your petiole. This is leaf lamina. So if you see the cross section of the leaf, you will get an idea. So this is a midrib, and you will have some. If you take the cross section of this leaf here, you will have, this is the cross section of the leaf. So in the upper layer is your protective layer. So it will protect the leaf from the mechanical injury and from insects and all. Okay, so this is your upper epidermis. It is covered with a cuticle. Cuticle is nothing but a waxy layer. Okay, waxy layer. So it helps in the prevention of water loss. What is the purpose of cuticle? Here, prevent the water loss. Prevent the water loss. Okay, next. So this is your upper epidermis. Below that you will have a palisade tissue which contains palisade mesophils and spongy mesophils. Okay, so this palisade mesophyll is closely packed cylindrical cells. Okay, this is very important. Here only the chloroplast is there. This is a chlorophyll. These are your chloroplast. So this is your chloroplast which contain chlorophyll. Okay, this epidermis is not involved in the photosynthesis process. This chloroplast is involved in the palisade mesophyll is involved in the photosynthesis process. Why? Because it contains chloroplast, and in chloroplast what is present? Chlorophyll. This only helps in the absorption of light energy. Okay, and this spongy cells is loosely packed. Why? It will allow the gases to exchange and water to it helps in the exchange of gases. Okay, diffusion of gases through the pores. Okay, this is your vascular bundle which contains the xylems and phloem and used for the transportation of water, minerals and food material. Right, so below the leaf again you will have a epidermis protective cell, but in between the epidermis you will have a opening, that is your stomata. That is your stomatal pore through which gases will move. Right, diffusion of gases will happen. Okay, evapotranspiration is taking place. Evaporation and transportation is taking place through this opening. Okay, so this opening is controlled by a cell which is called guard cell. Okay, so this is your guard cell and this is your stomatal pore. Okay, so This is a stomatal pore and this is a guard cell. So what is stomata? You learn in the lower classes. This is a tiny pore through which diffusion of gases taking place, right? It is present on the surface of the leaves. It is present on all the places, but mostly present on the lower surface of the leaf, okay, to reduce the evapotranspiration, okay. And again you will have a cutil surface, it's a waxy layer. This is the cross section of the leaf, okay. This chlorophyll help in the fixation of sunlight, right, light energy. So this loss of water is happening in all the parts, through stem, roots and leaves also, but large amount of water can be lost through the stomata. So most of the time, if it is not required, the plant cell closes the pores, okay. When it does not need of carbon dioxide, it will close the pores, okay. How it is closing and opening? So it is depends upon the guard cell, okay. It is based on the guard cell, okay. It is a function of the guard cell to open the stomatal pore or close the stomatal pore, okay. So opening and closing of the stomatal pore is a function of guard cell, okay. When the stomatal pore will open or when it closes. So when water when the internal pressure, when it absorb more and more water, so there will be a pressure. So the guard cells begin to swell, right? So it is very thick. It cannot open in the sides. It cannot swell in the sides. Okay. So it will try to open the. It will be expanding in the stomatal pore side. So this is your guard cell. So once it swells, this side will be a thick layer. So it cannot expand, it cannot swell. So what will happen at that time? It will expand. This will expand and it will open the pore. When it shrinks, it will close. When it shrinks, it will close. If water is not there, it will close. Okay. The guard cell swells when water flows into them, causing the stomatal pore to open. Okay. When it swells, the stomatal pore will be open and the pore closes if the guard cells shrinks. It will shrink, then the pore will close. Stomatal pore will be closed. Okay. So this is how what is required for this photosynthesis process, CO2. So how the plants got the CO2? Through the stomata, okay. The water is absorbed through the roots from the soil, okay. Then the chlorophyll will fix the sunlight, absorbs the sunlight. So here, so what is happening? This CO2 is reduced and hydrogen is split into, water is split into hydrogen and oxygen, okay. So it finally will get the glucose. So only this food is enough for the growth of the plant? No, no. Few other materials also required for the growth of the plant. So what are the other materials required for this plants? Means nitrogen, phosphorus, iron, magnesium and all. So how it will be taken up to the plant? It will be taken up from the soil. It will take all the nitrogen, other material like nitrogen, phosphorus, iron and magnesium. Okay, this nitrogen is very, very important for the synthesis, formation of protein and other compounds. Okay, so from where it will so since it is a very essential product, so what are the sources of this nitrogen? From where it will take nitrogen? Only from the soil. Can hear this fertilizers, right? For agriculture they will be using the fertilizers. So it is available in the form of inorganic form also. So it is taken up in the form of inorganic nitrates or nitrites. Okay, this can be taken in the form of inorganic nitrates or nitrates, as well as it can be available in the form of organic nitrogen also. So who will fix this organic nitrogen means this bacteria. Bacteria will consume this nitrogen from the atmosphere and convert it into a organic compound like ammonia and all. Okay, so these are the two sources of nitrogen. It is available in the form of inorganic also, as well as organic compounds also. Okay, thank you.